Hi there. So it's Joanne here, and I'm very excited to speak with Vanessa LeBlanc today, who's going to tell us all about her business and her life and how she balances business and babies. So I'm really excited to share this with you, and I'm excited to hear about it as well. So Vanessa, really just like, first of all, thank you so much for meeting with me. It's great to connect.
Oh, thank you.
East coast of the States up to the east coast of Canada. It's really cool. I'd love to know just a little bit about your business to get started. What do you do and how long you've been in business, and just give us a bit of a feel for that. That'd be great.
Okay, well, I've just started my business.
Okay.
It's called Visionary Mamas.
Awesome. Love the name.
Yeah, it is great, isn't it?
Cool.
It took me a while to come up with it. I think I went through a few different variations, but I've been working on the concept for many years, but finally putting it into action this year. So it's based around helping mothers to become visionaries and make positive impact in the world. So I give them guidance on finding their passion, their purpose, their values, creating these big visions for their future, and then developing a visionary mindset so that they can achieve these big goals. And most importantly, it's also about guiding mothers to raise their children with a visionary mindset.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
So I find that that's been a very big missing link. Like, there's a lot of talk about the law of attraction, which I've studied, which I thought was great. But I wanted to apply it in a bigger way, because it's all great having, wealth, success, I don't know, all these little items like a new car and a great coffee machine, but that's great. But I think that once we start contributing to the world in a bigger way, everything else falls into place. So I've shifted the predominant focus on the bigger vision.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's exciting. So you just got started, and is it primarily online business, or
sorry?
Is it primarily an online?
Yes, it's an online business. So one of the reasons why I created it online is one of my bigger focus is raising my children with the visionary mindset. So I wanted to create a business where I can include them. So originally I was starting with that, but then I realized that mothers needed their mindset in place first to be able to do that. So that's why I shifted the focus.
Right.
So I put it all online, and I'm creating it in a way which supports that, so that I can spend more time with my kid. I mean, up front, it's a lot more work, but it will pay off. And I think that's one of the things I want to help mothers do. There's a lot of mothers out there that would want a business from home so that they can spend more time with their children. So that's part of my journey, is to help them set up their own home business, but get it right to start with. So
yeah, absolutely. Because that time is so precious, isn't it? I think especially when it's time invested in your business is time away from the kids, so you want to know you're doing the right stuff. Yeah,
that's right. And the thing that can happen is you can start an at-home business but end up being a slave to that and not spending much time with your kids in the background. So I try and help them get it set up right to start with. So I think you start with your values and your desires, and then your concept develops from there. And you can, with the online space, you can structure it in a way now where you can do it in different ways to have more or less time involved, but it's head around.
Love it. Awesome. And tell us a little bit about your children. So how many kids have you got?
So I've got two boys. One's almost 3, and the other one's an 11-month-old. So
it's a real little baby.
Yes. So it's it's been an interesting challenge. And it was funny when I had the first one, things go a certain way, and I thought, well, when I have the second one, it'll be just pretty much the same.
Like that.
All these things happening. As the second one came along, I was like, oh my God, this is so much busier than I expected. But anyway, you get into a groove.
And they're not the same as the first either. They do different things. You're like, oh, I was like.
Well, the second one doesn't sleep very well, so that's the challenge. But anyway, so you just evolve, I guess, with your children.
Yeah. Nicely put. So come on, tell us, nap time hustle. How do you do it? How do you work your business around your kids? How do you?
Well, it's not always nap time, I must admit. So I guess, how I structure my day is I try and just go where the energy flows. That's how I So if I have a structure, it never works. I
Flexible.
started by scheduling my day, and that went out the window within one day. I thought you
Right.
working. So anyway, so what I do is I tend to work in the morning. I've set up my office here in the family room.
I see you've got the toys right there. That's cool.
The play area is right behind me, and so that enables them to play, and I can interact with them. But I tend to try and do some work in the mornings, and the 11-month-old goes for sleep. He has 2 naps a day at the moment, so that's really good. And the 3-year-old, like, he's very independent player, so I mean, I'm very lucky in that regard. But I tend to try and work as much as I can in the mornings, and in the afternoon I kind of alternate. Like, I spend the quality time play, and when they're occupied, then I'll come back and I'll do some work. But I stop around dinner preparation time, because I think, oh, well, that's enough. I don't want to spend my whole day focused on my business, but I try and keep it in balance the best as I can.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I tend to kind of separate the two. My youngest is 3.5, so I guess he's at preschool a bit more. So if he's here, I tend to be with him, and if he's not here, then I tend to work or do whatever else I'm doing. But I think,
and it does depend on the child too.
Yeah.
Imagine there's somewhere it's not so easy.
Yeah, but I think it's similar to you, actually. The morning times, when he's if he's home in the morning time, that's his time where he's going to sleep all night. He comes down, wants to play with all his toys, and that's actually a good time to get a good sort of hour of relative peace.
Well, I find it's when they've just been fed, their bellies are full, and they think, oh, well, I'll play for a while.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. So I guess it's hard to say, but is there like an average work day for you? Do you work sort of 5 days a week, or what do you?
Well, yes and no. I mean,
kind of dip into it.
To be honest, sometimes it gets thrown out the window, because I still have to do things like go get the groceries, or I've got one of
play dates and things like that.
Yeah, swimming lessons. So things get thrown about. But essentially, on those days, like, I tend to do those activities in the morning and in the afternoon. It's just the same thing. It's just alternating between play and work, But I do. When I first started, I had a babysitter in just for a couple of hours a week. But then I had that focus time just to get some concepts developed, and that was very helpful. So I found sometimes I need that. But in this particular phase, I'm all right just sort of twiddling.
And that's it. As soon as you get used to this phase, it changes as well.
I can see that coming.
To a new thing. And do you work evenings sometimes too, or when they're asleep? Or?
Not much, because I find it harder to switch off when I go to sleep.
Right. Yeah.
So I do sometimes if I'm trying to fix up my website, but then I find I'm dreaming of fixing up my website. So I'm not do that anymore.
Yeah. It's not always the most productive times. It's just finding, well, like you said in the beginning, actually following the energy flow, like where the energy's.
That's right.
Yeah.
If the inspiration calls, you go for it. But if it's not there, then there's no point forcing it.
Yeah. Now, I know from juggling, like I've got 2 kids, but from juggling kind of babies and business, it gets pretty hectic. So what I'd love to know is, like, what's your favourite way to switch off? So one thing there is you tend not to work in an evening, so that's a really good tip. Yeah. And what else do you do to just switch off, and even to replenish yourself, like when your batteries are a bit drained?
I think that the most important thing is to be present as well. Like when I am playing with the kids, I try to make sure that my mind is focused on them, and that's switching off in a way. And then when it was summer here, I'd take them to the beach, and I'd just be outside and get some outside time and nature time. It's a bit more challenging with winter coming up.
Yeah, not like the
Australian here in Canada, and I'm still trying to figure out what you do in winter.
All this snow stuff. What's going on?
That's it. So my challenge will be how to get them to enjoy nature in winter. So I want to try and do some activities, and that to me is also switching off, because I do love spending time with my children. Like, I find, I get a lot of enjoyment about when they're going through new phases and learning new things. So that is my switch off time. Yeah. But otherwise, just for me, I guess, I like to go get my hair done, or, just get out and about. I just drives. So I do try and do that, but I don't need to, I guess, turn right off because I'm quite passionate about what I do. So I like thinking sort of broad concepts and what I can do to contribute to the world. Like I really enjoy pondering.
Yeah, that's very cool. And so my next question is really about the kind of the entrepreneurial journey. I know you said you're just getting started with your business, so I don't know if this is applicable or not, but often that journey can be lots of ups and downs, and really, success can be a long time coming. Depends, it can seem like an overnight success, but in actuality, it's taken years for that person to get to that point. How have you kind of found that journey so far? You've probably been like a long journey just to get to this point of actually starting.
It really has. It really has, because I've spent a lot of time developing my mindset for this particular business.
Yeah.
So even when the kid, well, even when my eldest was a baby, I used those times, with feeding and up in the night, even the 11-month-old, to develop my mindset, to develop my concepts. So it's been going on for quite some time. And I think the main thing that I have found is that on those bad days, normally when you don't sleep, it's like a pendulum. It comes back around. So if you just relax and maybe don't do anything with your business in that particular day, if you can, if you're in that position, then the next day you're really inspired and motivated and
have you
get
sleep?
so much. So don't sweat it, I guess, is the main thing when you don't feel great about. So I've managed to go through that period just like that. If you're down, just let it go,
because it's going to go up again. And
you're more productive in the uptime anyway. I've wasted a lot of time in those down days trying to do something and wasted a whole day doing nothing really.
And you don't really get anywhere, you get distracted, and it's actually better just to take a break.
Like just absolute rubbish work, and just think, time that was.
Absolutely. And how would you say kind of the journey so far? I mean, you've spoken a lot about the mindset, so I'm going to ask how it shaped you, like if you're different now to when you sort of first started thinking about this business concept. Sounds like you've actually changed quite a bit.
Yes. Well, I think, I've changed a lot. And the main thing is once you, I guess, come into your power, like your passion and purpose, you really become empowered and energized. Like you have a new energy and a new zest for life because you know that what you're doing has a bigger meaning. And that is energetically a huge shift. And then your mindset, everything sort of changes with that. And you realize that you can actually do things that you never thought you could do. Not just like everyday tasks, but I mean, you can actually set a new direction for yourself, for your community, and you can contribute differently. You have a voice. And that's one of the reasons why I did the Visionary Mamas, because if you can help mums get their voice, get their passion, their purpose, their brand, all of that, and I call it as a package as your favorite you, if you can actually activate who your favorite you is and then accept all the bits you didn't like before, stuff the rest of everybody and their expectation, something happens. Like you just become so empowered and so different and almost unstoppable. And you become addictive to the process. So that's the reason why I'm doing this, is because I think people are gonna love being that person. No, that's it.
I'm gonna
that person.
I'm going to jump questions a little bit because so what would you say, like, is there a bigger why to your business? It sounds like we're kind of getting there. Is it around like the female empowerment and like what really drives you?
Okay, well, what drives me is I think that there's so many people out there questioning where the world is going. And it's like for the first time people are asking, is this really our destiny to go down this particular path? And I believe a lot of people aren't satisfied with the path. And I feel that now is the time that, especially with the law of attraction gaining such momentum, people are understanding that they actually have a voice and a say.
Yeah. And it
and a
matters.
desire to change it. And I think we can change it. And I think that there's a lot of nostalgia for the past, but not necessarily. I would never say go back to the past, but I think there's some things we've learned from the past, like especially values.
Yeah, bring with us
values back, and then we can use some of the great technology, that the advances that have come, and start creating a completely different way of doing things. And I think the more people that get on board will find a common theme about what we all want.
Yeah.
And if the energy goes there, the world will go there. So, as a group, as we start building momentum, I think that we'll see a different change.
Yeah.
The change makers now.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, that's a big part of why I do what I do as well. I think, there's numerous quotes, but I think the Dalai Lama has a quote around the Western woman will change the world. And I think that's so true. I think there's so much power, but it's rising into that. And usually from my point of view, it's about how we sort of manage the time and the energy around stuff.
Yeah.
For you, actually, it's the other piece more around the vision of what are you aiming towards? So,
well, that's it. And you keep your values in mind. Like, anytime that I get distracted or maybe get too caught up in, doing menial tasks, I look at my vision of what I want. And, even if it's just for my family, and I reread it and I think, that's what I want my family to turn out like. So am I being the mother who's going to do that? And I keep checking in, because I think that that's important. We've got to keep bigger pictures in mind, not just little tiny things. So,
and it's taking decisions from that place as well of where you want to get to, not just like current situation where you are sometimes.
And the people you want to hang around with as well. Like I think, you have precious time now. When you have little one, you decide where your time goes, and you have to choose carefully about where your attention, your energy, your focus goes.
Yeah, that's so true. Absolutely. So what do you wish you'd known when you first started your business? If you kind of go back in time, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, there's a few things. I think most importantly, I wish I had known that I needed all these new skills for the online space.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I would have started a lot earlier. I do have a background in marketing, but I tell you, I've had to learn a whole bunch of new skills anyway. So it's kind of good in a way, because I can apply as I learn. But I wish I would tell my old self, hey, get on to that.
Get on.
Get on to that. But also, don't worry so much about, like, don't pressure yourself to achieve so quickly. Just go with the flow. And, the main thing is develop your space, develop who you are, and then the rest will come in.
Yeah.
So I think just take a chilled approach to that.
Yeah, just kind of trusting the process as it unfolds.
Trust, exactly.
Yeah. One of my other favourite quotes is another Gandhi one. To be the change that you would love to see in the world. So what's the change that you would love to see in the world?
Well, I would like to see people happy. Like, I think that's a big thing, is they're not only happy, but they're happy, I guess, adding value. I think everybody's purpose really is to create in this world. And I think when you're creating, you're energized and you're yourself. And I think if you can come to a point where you find yourself and you know what you're all about, and then you create from there, it's going to make you happy. And I think that that's the biggest change I want to see in the world. And of course, applied to children, because if they're taught, a visionary mindset as they're growing, they know that they're a contributor in the world, and not just a passenger. They're a real contributor, and they don't have to, work within these little boxes and these systems that contain them. They can actually change the playing field.
Yeah.
And that's the big change I want to see.
Wow. Exciting. So tell me, what's next for you? What's coming up? What are your kind of hopes and dreams for the future with you?
Well, my next step is, probably my main focus next year is the mindset for children. So I want to really kickstart that. So my goal is to create a membership site where mums can go on there. They can, unlock their favorite version of themselves, their passion and purpose. They can apply it to their business and start home businesses in a very cheap, affordable way, and also, design it themselves, I guess.
Right.
And they develop their visions. They have a mastermind group, and then they have a parenting section where they can go in and they can have all these activities and
so resources to use for kids.
on how to raise their children that way, because I think people are hungry for it.
Yeah.
They want their children to be different. They don't want the same old, same old. They need.
Well, that's the biggest thing. You want your kids to be happy, don't you? I mean, that's drivers,
and empowered too. Like they need to know that they're here for a reason, not just sitting around watching television as they grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
More to it.
Oh, so that sounds cool. Membership site, huh? When do you think that's going to be live, or is it too early to ask?
Well, I'm hoping early next year. Yeah, we'll see what my children let me do. See how much they let me achieve. I don't know, but I'm hoping to get it up early next year. At least I'll get part of it up so people can start accessing resources. And then
I'll keep us posted. Definitely keen to hear about that. And where can people find you online if they'd like to hear a bit more about that and everything else that you offer and connect with you?
Yep, so it's visionarymamas.com, so with mamas, MAMAS. .com, and yes, they can go on there, and so I'm offering coaching to a few. Like I've just opened up a few spaces. I can't do too many because I've got to prioritize children.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'll do an online course in October, and the membership site will come. So it's all getting off the ground, and we'll just take it day by day. And hopefully people join me on the journey. I'm very excited. Yeah,
that's cool. And what's the course in October? What do you do? Is that the favourite you?
It's actually an inner visionary course. So it's just going through the foundation of your passion and purpose and values and your vision statements, really, to get them off the ground.
Ooh,
we'll start the visionary mindset as well.
Yeah. Oh, great. So we have to make sure we check that out at visionarymamas.com.
Yeah.
And lastly, any sort of practical tips or advice for other women who might be watching this, who are trying to juggle business and babies? What practical tips and advice would you have for them? What would you say to them?
Well, I think it all comes down to getting your priorities set. Like you have to know where you're heading with this and what you actually want. A lot of people are starting businesses based on what they think they should be doing, rather than what they want to do. And it's a very big difference. If you understand what you want to do first, based on your values and your desires, then you can put it into place properly. Otherwise, you're going to go down a path that's probably a little bit bumpy to start with. So I think that's my best advice, is get on what you want, not what you should be doing.
Right, yeah, what you really want. As the Spice Girls said so poignantly all those years ago.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Vanessa. It's been great to connect with you. Thank you. And that's really cool. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the recording now. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that.